Everyone knows that Sony A7R II had a lot of problems. It had a weak battery, not the best button layout, and a lot of more annoying things. But now it all changed, cause now we have Sony A7R III. After 2.5 years of usage of Sony A7R II, I learned a lot of its flaws and strengths. Having this knowledge helps me to see the difference between two models. Everyone was annoyed when they found out that the camera has the same sensor as a predecessor, but what they didn't figure out is that the camera has a new processor, which allows you to get better image quality in certain scenarios and to get faster functionality, speed. A7R III is a little bit bigger, but it's still got a lot of improvements. The main improvement is the battery, which can last for about 2 or 2.5 times longer. 2 SD card slots, one of which is UHS 2 and the other one is UHS 1. Don't know why Sony didn't make both of them the second version. USB Type-C 3.1, so you can charge the camera and also send the files to your computer while you're shooting. Also there's a flash connector. We still got micro USB and micro HDMI, headphone and microphone jack. Now we got the new joystick, but personally I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I will, cause it has a little movement to it. The movie mode button is now next to the viewfinder, what is way more comfortable. All the buttons feel much sturdier and more enjoyable to press. Where the ceiling got better, and I do trust it. In 2.5 years nothing happened to A7R II, and I think this will be fine as well. Another big improvement is display resolution. In real life it looks way better than the second series one. You can see more detail on it and it's easier to focus using it. It is still a tilt display. Yes, I know the screen doesn't rotate, what annoys a lot of vloggers, but this camera was created for professionals who shoot other people and landscapes, not themselves. Touchscreen allows you to focus by pressing on it, and also in the movie mode you can do rack focus by moving the finger from one point to another. You can double tap the screen and the image will zoom in to help you focus more precisely on something. But personally I didn't like the touchscreen idea and I will be still using a normal shutter button focus. Sony's amazing viewfinder got even better and the resolution got higher. Sometimes you even want to watch a movie in it. The most useful function I added is when you tilt the screen, the viewfinder won't switch on until you close the screen back. On A7R II it was really annoying to shoot from the chest height and the screen was switching off all the time. Another small thing to notice is that the speaker got a little bit louder, microphone is still the same, and overall speed of the camera and viewing files got much faster. Also there is a slow motion mode on the dial, but we will talk about this later. Let's talk about stills. A7R III has 42 megapixel BSI full frame sensor and 399 focus points. All of this gives you an amazing picture quality and really accurate autofocus. BSI technology allows you to get cleaner images in low light situations. The dynamic range got increased from 14 stops to 15 stops, what is not really noticeable. By having 399 focus points, you can put the focus point anywhere you want in live view mode, what you can't do with DSLR cameras. I don't see any point comparing R2 and R3 photos cause they have the same quality, so let's get to the next part. What definitely got better is the speed, accuracy and reliability of autofocus. Guys, the difference is huge. Camera is great in tracking objects really quick and focusing from one object to another, and the main point is that the eye autofocus got twice better. For me as a portrait photographer, the function of being able to track the model's eye is a killer feature. Having 85mm lens with aperture of 1.4, you can be certain that it will focus on the eye of the moving model. Yes, it doesn't work 100% perfectly and sometimes it can miss a target. In darker situations, the speed of autofocus is decreased and focus can jump around sometimes, but you can definitely use it with confidence. Continuous autofocus works great. With 85mm 1.4 camera manages to track the man ice skating well. All of the photos are in focus. You can even try calling A7R III an A9 with 42 megapixel. If you want, you can shoot 10 frames per second in 12 bits, or you can shoot 8 in 14 bits. You decide what you need more. Buffer got twice larger, and now you have an indicator on the screen which shows you how many images are saving. And the biggest point is that now you can use camera's menu and other functions while images are saving. In A7R II you couldn't press anything while that's happening. You can use a silent shutter that allows you to shoot anywhere you want with no sound. This is a fantastic opportunity for shooting in cathedral or shooting sports such as a golf, so you don't distract the player while he's concentrated. Or you can shoot booties or TTs while no one notices. But sometimes you can get bending and it depends on lighting situation. A9 performs way better with silent shutter cause its sensor readout is much fast. Also I was disappointed in the maximum shutter speed that can be only 1/8000th, either with mechanical shutter or electrical. The biggest improvements we got are in video mode. One of the biggest improvements is the low light. The difference between R2 is about 3 stops. That's huge difference. Now you can always shoot using full frame mode with no need to switch to Super 35 mode to get the cleaner image. Now in full frame you can film using ISO 12800, what's the maximum for me. In A7R II you couldn't use 3200 ISO because it was too noisy. To my surprise, 4K in full frame on A7R III looks cleaner than in Super 35 mode. On the other hand, Super 35 mode gives you more detailed image by downscaling 5K video image to 4K. I never shoot higher than 8000 ISO, what means that now I can shoot everything in full frame with clean image, but at the same time have 42 megapixel in the photo mode. Improvements are huge. By the way, now you can set the Super 35 mode onto any custom button. Also we get a new slow motion mode. Now camera can shoot Full HD 120 frames per second. A7R II could only shoot in HD. Quality is good. Images are sharp, but not as sharp as in 30 or 60 frames. Everything could be shot in full frame with no crop. Also you have a choice of shooting a video file of 120 frames per second with sound, or you could shoot a video which already will be made into slow motion, and you can specify how many frames per second you want it to be. When you're buying a Sony camera, your priority number 1 should be lenses. If you're not going to buy original Sony glass, you better not to buy the Sony camera then. Using an adapter at some point an advantage, but at some points a disadvantage. By using an adapter you can for example connect Canon glass and get eye autofocus. Obviously you will lose about 30% of autofocus speed. Camera will get larger and heavier and you do lose weather sealing. The reliability of the adapter isn't the best and you don't want it to break during an important shoot. Sony has a lot of really good glass, especially G Master lineup. And recently Sigma did come up with 9 new lenses, so if you have money for camera and glass, then buy it straight away. But if you don't have the money for glass, think about it. Do you really want to make a cripple out of this great camera? Now we got an S-Log 3 and HLG profiles for maximum flat image. S-Log 2 works great with highlights, but if you need the detail in shadows you should be using a third version. But in low light situations I will recommend you to shoot in standard profile mode to get the cleanest image. HLG profile allows you to work with HDR, but at this time I didn't manage to work with it yet. By using an Atomos recorder you still get 8-bit 4:2 color. By having 400 megabits per second, S-Log files grade really well and don't fall apart as much as the ones with 100 megabits. So if you have a recorder, it's worth to use with this camera. The rolling shutter problem was fixed a lot. The difference is huge and now the rolling shutter is way less noticeable. Using a 35mm lens with 2.8, the best results I got in Full HD mode, but 4K looks great as well. The most important thing for me in video mode is good autofocus. Many professionals, filmmakers will hate me for this. They will tell me that you can't use autofocus for filming. But that's not true. Most of the time I shoot using Ronin M. While I'm using it I can't manual focus because both of my hands are busy. Autofocus allows me to point the camera where I want and to get everything in focus. It doesn't matter what I'm using, wide angle lens or 85mm. Autofocus works great and I can forget about technical problems and focus on story and the shot. I can make smooth shots and forget about focus problems. Also autofocus is a must-have when I'm shooting vlogs. We all know that it's not perfect, but at least 90% of my shots are in focus, and that is higher percentage than the people who shoot manually. Remember, the camera is created to help you, and I'm glad that autofocus is reliable enough to help me at my job. Sony cameras have great sound amplifiers, what means that you can plug any microphone and it will sound great. During the whole time of using the camera, 2 batteries were enough. During 2 hours of shooting I took about 300 photos and I still had left over 75% of battery. By shooting that many photos on A7R II I would have left with about 35% of battery only. One time I took the camera away for a whole day onto the trip that was about 8 hours long. In the morning I had about 84% of battery. In the evening I had 514 photos in RAW, 25 minutes of Full HD video and 10 minutes of 4K video. By the time I got home I had 34% of battery. I still didn't manage to use that second battery because there was no need. Yes, the biggest Sony's camera problem got completely fixed. We get one more stop in steady shot improvement. You won't notice that much difference when you're shooting video, but in photos it's great. With 1/10 of the shutter you can get a sharp image shooting handheld. The menu system got a little bit better. The coolest feature is My Menu function. You can create your own menu by putting certain things where you want. Still have play memory sub, which we were told we're not gonna be getting it. It allows you to send photos from your camera to your smartphone, what is great. The new pixel shift modes allow you to get the best quality out of the camera possible. Camera takes 4 photos and each time the sensor moves by 1 pixel. After this you should open Sony app and join the photos together into one. In pixel shift mode you get a better dynamic range a little bit and more detailed images. The problem with this mode is that you can only shoot still objects. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to take a good portrait with it. I can definitely say the Sony A7R III isn't just a little upgrade, this is a huge step forwards. It feels different, you're not going to get those little annoying things and problems. This is a professional tool. All of the problems got fixed, new functions added. Unfortunately the photo quality didn't get better, but let's not forget that we are still getting the best image out there. Camera got a lot of improvements in terms of autofocus, such as speed and accuracy. The eye autofocus works way better now, it allows you to get best portraits. Camera feels better in your hand thanks to bigger hand grip. The video functions quality moved to next level, you get a very sharp 4K video with a clean image on high ISOs. Battery is not a problem anymore and speed of camera won't disappoint you. And yes, there's no more overheating problem. When you're buying Sony A7R III, you can be certain that you will have a small camera which can take amazing quality photos and videos. Who is this camera for? For anyone. Look at this camera as a personal device, not just like a job tool. You can take this camera with your family anywhere you want and take amazing quality photos or videos, and it won't take much space. You can shoot serious projects using it and it won't disappoint you. Recently though we got Sony A7R III announced, what might be a better choice for the price, but still it's not gonna be as high top quality as this one. If you look towards other cameras, the only camera which is close to this one is Nikon D850, but it's way larger, has worse video function, it doesn't have important features such as eye autofocus. Canon lost its fucking way somewhere back in 2012 I guess, and GH5 though it's cheap, it's still too far away in terms of ISO, autofocus and photo features. I don't think it's a good idea to sacrifice all of those just for 60 frames, 4K and 10-bit. But if you don't have money for this camera, the A7R III will be the best choice for money. But if you want the best photo quality, it's certainly A7R III. With this camera you can shoot whatever you want and how you want.